inside our mother's womb, we start growing arms and legs and all sorts of other things. And it feels strange because we have no use for them. We are floating. We are not even eating. We are attached to an umbilical cord. We have no knowledge where it goes. We have no idea what it is. And now we are getting this arm in here, this leg, and this elbow there, and we see that we can move it. So we just push it against our mother's stomach, and it's uncomfortable. And we keep getting bigger and bigger. We think, what is this for? What is this one for? Or what is this one for? What is this? Do I see lights? We don't even know what seeing is. But it is all strange. But with such a heart, with such championship, we keep coming forward with such courage and such lust for staying and surviving and coming forward. We keep going. Finally, we decide to go to a whole new world. Outside. Be born. But lo and behold, when we are born, that's where the real trouble starts. We can't breathe. We don't know how to. But we try. We try real hard. We try real hard. And we scream until the mucus comes out of the lungs. We don't know what to do with the rest of our body. We are helpless. We don't have any kind of balance or coordination. Even our eyes are not focused. If at all, we see just a line. Just a line. But we keep trying. And then we hear voices. Voices that we may have heard when we were in our mother's womb. Our mother's voice. Our father's voice. Our heads turn. We don't see anything. And then this way and that way. And then we cry because we can't breathe. Everything hurts because we are in a new world. But we have such a lust for going forward, as if we have an innate address as to where we are going. We just jumped in, jumped out, and into this new world. Somehow we knew the address, didn't we? And somehow something was forcing us to move. And that, I would like to call it, lust. Lust to move. That was the fuel. Lust to move. And those of us that had the courage to use that lust actually survive this channel of coming through. It's very tight, it's very hard, it's very painful, and we cannot breathe. But we do it. We do it and come through. And this is nothing. And think about all the colitis and all the pains. You know, our nerves don't have the proper covering on them. There are two covers on your nerves that you're supposed to get, but you don't get them when you're born. You get one of them. You don't get the other one. That's why you have all these sensitivities. You are sensitive to everything. Everything. But we keep going. We keep going. There is as if we have an address going somewhere. Nothing is going to stop this champion. We are going forward very courageously. And then little by little, with the encouragement and love of our parents and siblings and friends probably, we start rolling. And after rolling, we start crawling. And we try to stand up. You know, I read somewhere many years back when my son was little that I believe children fall about 10,000 times before they get to have the first step. Can you imagine what kind of courage that takes for every human to go through this? That force, that lust, that courage of champions to go forward, and finally, after so many failures, so many falls, we take the first step. Oh, come on here, just one more step. And we take the next step and we fall. And then we get up, and then we fall, and then we get up, and then we fall. Failures and failures. You know, these failures are not failures really. The word failure only means shortcoming. Shortcoming. Coming short of the address. Because we know the address. We know the address of life. We know the address of where we are going. We know it here. We know it here. We know it here. We know it. That is why when we fail, we don't get discouraged. We just keep going. We just keep going. We try to talk. I remember my son, when he walked and talked very early. But I remember under the shower, when I was washing him with me, he was very little. I would sing for him under the shower. And then I remember just watching him, and he was moving his mouth with me, as if trying to make the words. He didn't have any sound, but he was moving his lips, trying courageously, going forward, and kept failing, right? Seems to me that failure is the stuff of championship. And finally, he talked like all children, and he walked like all children. All of us did. Championship reminds me of a story. The emperor, long time ago, once upon a time, if you will, the emperor decided to give the honor of champion of the emperor to the champion of the empire. For that, they started picking people that would qualify. People came forward showing who they are and how they survived, and they do all sorts of things. They come forward. But they all had failed. They all had failed so many times. Finally, this man walks up and says, I am your champion, my emperor. And the emperor says, well, who are you? What have you done? He said, I have never lost a sword fight. Ask all these people that have come over here to claim the championship. Ask all of them, has any one of them ever defeated me? They all have to admit that they never did. So the emperor says, wow, so you are my champion. Let the ceremonies begin. As they're beginning the ceremony, the man goes, Excuse me, Emperor. May I? The Emperor says, what now? He says, I need to stop an injustice. He says, what injustice? I'm giving you the championship of the empire. You're going to be my champion. What else do you want from me? He said, an injustice is happening in here. He said, because the criterion for this championship is wrong. The emperor says, how is it wrong? He said, because a man that has fought 2 battles and has lost 1, he's 50% winner. A man that has fought 100 battles and won 50, he's also 50% champion, 50% winner. So this is not right. He says, what do you mean? He says, because with this kind of criterion, I win as your champion. He says, of course you win. You have never lost. He said, I have never been in a sword fight, ever. I am a statesman. I'm a man of the pen. I am a philosopher, rhetorician. I am not a swordsman. I don't touch a sword. I don't even carry a dagger. The emperor gets really, really upset. He says, so why did you do this to us? He said, to stop an injustice. And I wanted to be your vizier. Of course, he becomes the vizier and so on and so forth. But the way I look at it, the way I look at life, the way I see this is that failure only means shortcoming. Look it up. Look it up in the dictionary. Oh, Google me. It's just a shortcoming. It's a criterion for someone who knows the address. You can't fail if you don't know the address. If you have not tried, you cannot fail. If you had not tried 10,000 times, you couldn't have taken the first step. So failure, fueled by courage and lust for life, is the stuff of life. Because this is how we know where we are going. This is how we know when we arrived. When you fail to here, and your goal is here, you are this much short. Now, if you were the uncle of Napoleon Hill, the great Napoleon Hill, the way he explains it, that they stopped 3 feet short of one of the biggest gold mines in the United States. Now, that was a failure. If they had not left, had just taken a break, gone back to it, and kept digging. But then, when they left, it became a loss. When you fall off a horse, you get back on it. When a child falls, he gets up and walks. It's innate in us. We are all champions. We are all champions by my definition, and I like my definition. What do you think? Here is to here, and here is to now.